Ground Radio. New voices amplified.
Kuti iende atimboda iye ground yakaipa mazviziva anzi ndiyo inongotora mikombe yose saka musarwadziwa pull up pull up pull up pull up aineti kudzokorora iye ground Zimbabwe. Yeah, big up plot Marco, you know he's popped in the boy.
Yo,
What's up, man?
what's poppin', dog? What's good?
I'm good. Thanks a lot.
We live.
We live.
What up, people? What's poppin'?
Cool. Thanks a lot, Ben, for affording me this interview. It's such a great honor, and I've been dying to get this interview for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's good, man? What's good? Thanks for having me, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you. What's up?
You're welcome, man. Yeah, just to start off with, KAPCITY, capital
Yes,
K.
sir. Mm-hmm.
Lil Keith.
Yep.
You've transitioned from back then. I remember I had your first record in 2002 when you did a record with your brother Lil Kev.
Right, 2003, yeah.
2003, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And tell me, what has happened since then?
So, I came out 2003. That was with Schoolboy and Let's Party with my little bro, Lil Kev. Did the whole school thing. Obviously went to John's College, did my thing out there. Then obviously we had our little clique. We had the Green album, the John's Boys, the boys in the green blazers. We did our thing. Shout out to the fam. Shout out to SJC. Yeah, man. After that, then I, obviously linking up with some guys in the hood. Tags and those guys. We did some music together. We created a little group. We had a group, Showtime Africa. That was our thing, and that's how we kind of got our buzz outside of, basically in high school and kind of into the college like space, Then after college, obviously that's when in high school I was Capital K. That's when I went from Lil Keith to Capital K because I wasn't, baby boy no more. And then high school Capital K came about, and then I changed my name when I moved here to Florida. To KAPCITY because I'd always been shouting it out in all my songs, but I kind of felt like I needed to shed new skin and just show a new side of me and just adapt to where I was. So that's how all that transition, man.
Quite interesting journey. I mean, when you did your first record that got national acclaim, you were 9, right?
I was my brother was 9. I was 12.
You were 12.
Yeah.
Wow. How was the experience? I mean, you worked with the legend, like Fortune Parutsa. You recorded
man,
that
R.I.P. R.I.P. to the God, man. R.I.P. to the legend, man. It was amazing. I mean, I got in studio with him. I got to make a beat from scratch with him. I got to see how he worked at Wheels of Fortune Records. That was amazing, man. Just being in that space for the first time on such a level because he was the top. Like, that was what it was. Like, Fortune Parutsa, that was the top of music in Zimbabwe, and having to work with such a great producer / artist / songwriter, that was amazing. I just remember the first time I heard the song on the radio. Can't remember what radio station it was, and I'm not sure if it was Gulas who played it or somebody played it. And I heard it. Yeah. I was sitting on top of, like, we had bunk beds, and I was sitting on top. I was on the top bunk. And I remember hearing it, and I was like, damn, that's my shit on radio, man. And I was so happy, bro. Like,
oh, man.
I remember that. Yeah, so, yeah, man, shout out to the late Fortune. Man, R.I.P. to the greatness,
True. And this means that your family was supportive, your parents were supportive of your music career at a very tender age. How was this?
Absolutely.
Because a lot of families, a lot of parents would not support their kids to actually get into music.
Right. Well, I guess more so, it just depends on the balance that you have, I mean, I was always good in school, so I got the grades. Sports-wise, I was always really good at the sports that I was good at, which is like basketball. I played cricket. I was pretty good at cricket. I never made like the first team and shit, but I played like, second team. I was really good at the second team. So on all those spheres in my life, I was, I'm a well-disciplined child. I was never the disobedient one. So I guess all those things kind of factored into the fact that they could let me venture off and do music without it having to affect all those other things in my life, you know. And I did that really well, so that helped garner their support even more.
Awesome. And you were
Yeah.
born in Zimbabwe, but you spent the greater part of your childhood in the States, and you came back to
Yes,
Zimbabwe
sir.
for high school.
Exactly.
Was it
That's
easy
exactly
for
the
you to
story.
fit in?
Over here,
No, like back in Zimbabwe
coming
now.
back.
Yeah,
No, man. When I came back, they loved me even more. I don't know. It's just something about at the time. I don't know if it's still like that now. It probably is, but like coming from America, remember America to Africans is seen as this
I know
this
what you
holy
mean.
ground. You know, it's this holy grail. So
Yeah.
me coming back, obviously having an accent, and then getting into the system, like the girls loved it. I can't even complain. No, the girls they loved it, and the teachers were kind of
They
the
liked you
teachers
too.
loved it too
Yeah.
because I mean, like I went to Twin Rivers, right?
Yeah,
So
to Kariba.
there were a lot of people who had been there from grade 1 all the way up until grade 6, dying to be prefects. You know what I mean? And I just came through second term of grade 6, and by the time grade 7 came, I was a prefect. So I kind of jumped over a bunch of people, not because I don't know. To be honest, I don't even know. I just think that was just a whole bunch of politics happening. And then, yeah, man, I think just having that American swag or just having that sort of aura or whatever it is, that kind of did play to my advantage. And yeah, I blended in really well, man. I mean, immediately became a trendsetter, and that kind of like helped me move, navigate through. Yeah.
And with the hip hop scene, you blended it well, like in the educational system. But now there was already an existing hip hop community in Zimbabwe then, maybe not so big. But was it easy for you to connect? Did you manage to connect, or they always saw you as like,
Yeah.
okay,
I mean, I was a big fan of who are the guys, major players.
major player? Well,
Oh
they were a
yeah,
big thing, yeah.
big fan of them. Who else was doing hip hop at that time? David
Maskiri,
Chifunya said
Funyisa.
he was also popping at the time. Those are the guys I kind of had my eyes on because I saw a similarity with those guys, especially with that "We Came to Party" record. That song I still go back and listen to it. It takes me back. But in terms of blending in, like I never really conformed to their sound. I just kind of found my way. And then I used to bump into them on media runs and stuff like that, and it was cool. I mean, those guys were much older than me at the time, and they already had they had already had the city on their back because they'd been doing it, for so long. So I just kind of fit into that. And whenever we crossed paths, we crossed paths. But it was pretty. It was easy. It wasn't complicated. Obviously, given my family name and stuff like that, that helped me navigate a little more better. But like for the most part, everyone stayed in their lane. Everyone was cool with each other. I just wish major players lasted longer because I
Yeah,
used to
same
really
as
rock
me.
with them. Those guys, man, those guys were, shout out to them and wherever they are, man. Those guys really, yeah, I looked up and I was like, yeah, I see y'all. I see what y'all doing. All right. Yeah, that
And
was cool.
you were coming from the roots of hip hop. You were coming from the States where hip hop is like,
Facts.
yeah.
Yeah.
And who was like sort of your biggest influence? Who influenced your hip hop?
At that time, it was Bow Wow. It was Coolio. It was Tupac, of course. It was a little bit of Biggie. It was Dr. Dre. Uh, who else was it? So Def really had a major impact on me. I won't even lie. That was that era. Yeah. hmm
And moving from the States, now you're back in Zimbabwe, you're doing hip hop and
Right.
you're doing school.
hmm
Did you see the hip hop scene growing in Zimbabwe, or where you left it then is where it's at now?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Man, I won't even lie. Like I saw it growing, especially when I got to high school, because we started that. Like I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I'm definitely part of the
The
pioneers of
foundation.
uplifting and getting that thing really going. Like, me and my boys, we set up a crew. Obviously I led the crew, but we started having the high schools now want to start doing these raps because we started that, and that transcended to everybody because we made it look cool. We did it in a way it looked cool. There wasn't social media back then, so you know what I'm saying? So just imagine if there was social media and all that stuff back then. And we did that just by word of mouth and just by getting the songs out floppy disks when floppy disks was still a thing, on the iPod and stuff like that. So no, for sure, we definitely started that and helped elevate it and influence the generation behind us. You know, yeah. That's
And
why I think that's why a lot of people really respect it to this day is because that's kind of what it was. You know what I mean?
and do you feel the new generation right now? You're still part of the young generation, but not really
Oh
like
yeah,
fresh.
for
Yeah.
sure, man. Those are my guys, man. Shout out to H3, Henry. Shout out to Calvin. Shout out, yeah, 100%, yeah, 1000%. Like I'm not an old head, you know what I mean? Like I'm still very in this thing with these guys. So,
Yeah.
it's just that I've got the more pioneer status with the stuff. That's all.
Yeah. But do you feel that the new cats have respect over towards their foundation, the pioneers and people that laid the foundation for
For the
hip hop in
most,
Zimbabwe?
for the most part, yeah. I won't lie. For the most part that I've encountered, the people that I've encountered, yeah. Some guys, some of the new school cats who I really don't know, I'm not sure, but for the most part, the ones I've encountered and come across or that I've seen or heard talk about me or leave comments or whatever, they kind of seem to do. Yeah.
And personally, I've seen a lot of love towards you coming from outside than from within Zimbabwe now.
Yeah,
Is
that's how it
this
is, man.
is it a correct perception that I have?
Yeah, because most local people are miserable, man, because they want to get out. You feel me? They want to get out, man. And when you can't get out, you got to find something to do. Like, you got to find something to do. But people who are out understand. You know what I'm saying? But I still get a lot of support locally. But a lot of people don't really understand the dynamics of hip hop, like, or just music in general. A lot of people just think it's as easy as me coming home. Hey, why you doing music out there? Hey, Zoka Kumba, hey, well,
Yeah,
all this
yeah.
type of stuff. But it's like, yo, like, there's no infrastructure at home for us to do anything. Like, you guys expect me to just come with $1 billion and set up some sort of infrastructure when it's like people are still worrying about bread. People are worrying about how they're gonna get fuel, guy. Like, that music is not a priority to anybody. It doesn't pay. So I don't understand why people want to do that. Like, it doesn't pay. So in Zim it doesn't pay. So what, like, let's be real, Like, people just have this imagination, which I understand and which I would love, but it's like sometimes you got to be realistic. And like, I always believe, man, once you can't get past the basic needs, it's hard to do everything else up on the hierarchy. So yeah, I just hear it and I just keep it moving. But that's what people who are local and can't get out say and do.
Yeah. So where do you think the Zimbabwe music industry is going, or is there an industry to start off?
There's an industry, like, it's not a worldwide industry. It's a Zimbabwean industry. You know what I mean? Because you still have people who are winning, like Winky D and those guys and Job Praiser. Like, those guys are winning in their space. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's not a real. It's not a. It's an industry, but it could be a lot bigger. It could be a lot better, a lot bigger, a lot better. But that needs support. That needs money. That needs a lot of things. You know what I mean? But the ones that are staying in their lane, I mean, they're doing their thing. You can't knock them. They're doing the best of what they got.
And from the current crop that is based in Zimbabwe right now, which artists do you look forward to, or listen to?
Only the artists I featured on my project that I just dropped. If y'all ain't listening to me, y'all better be listening to Calvin. Y'all better be listening to H3. For real. Like, those are the guys. And obviously, hey, who's the other kid? Why am I forgetting him, man? I shouted him out. Damn. It'll come back to me. It'll come back
Okay.
to me. The kid who had
Okay.
a big
Cool.
hip hop song just the
Yeah.
other day. Can't remember. Yeah.
Now, I mean,
Oh, Kruger, Kruger,
oh,
Kruger,
Kruger,
Kruger.
yeah, he's dope. He's
Yeah.
dope. He's
Good kid,
dope.
good kid, good
Yeah.
kid. Yeah.
You have been exposed to so much from the South African
Mhm.
hip hop scene in Cape
Mhm.
Town, Johannesburg, now in the States, back and forth, and also in Zimbabwe. You have a
Mhm.
perspective from like all around. You have interacted with some of the big hip hop artists. What would you say today Zimbabwean music scene needs apart from maybe the economy? If the economy is fixed, what do you think needs to be done for us to move forward?
We need a sound. So I would say we need a sound because we kind of lack identity, global identity. I'll say we need a sound. I won't lie. Some of the stuff that I've been seeing come out, the quality is improving a lot. So I mean, that used to be an issue, but now people are doing great things. Obviously, with the technological change and stuff like that. So people are putting out quality stuff. I just think we need a unique sound, and we need more effective marketing so that we're on platforms like Trace, we're on platforms like MTV Base more, and we're not making music just for ourselves, but we're making music that's global that everyone can relate to. You know what I mean? Shauna, for example, is not a big language. I mean, it's a big language in Zim, but it's not a big language in Africa or in the world to make it work. So uh, you gotta make music that can kind of cross that border. You know what I'm saying? I can jump that border. That's a reference to jump the border. But yeah, you gotta make music that transcends to everybody, not just our people, because as we've seen, our people don't buy music. Like our people leave comments. That's just you know, like that's what it is. They just leave comments and they share on WhatsApp, but like they don't buy music.
Yeah,
So
they're just like,
you gotta
check out Penga Chingoma. This is
yeah,
dope,
yeah,
man.
yeah,
This is dope.
doing big things. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You know what I mean? But like, it's like you got to find a way to make it transcend into money. That's the struggle. But once we find an identity and we, work on a bigger marketing, start treating it like a business and stuff like that, yeah, it would be cool. The producers are winning. Those are the ones making money, are the producers, you know. But apart from that, yeah, you gotta be able to make songs that are kind of that break the boundaries, you know.
Interesting. A couple of years ago, very few years back, you made headlines. You attended the Revolt conference, and from
hmm
there, you caught the attention of P. Diddy. Can you
hmm
take us through the whole experience? What happened? And
It was very nerve wracking, you know. I got on stage, I did that. Can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Oh yeah. So yeah, there's some feedback. I don't know why there's a
There's feedback.
like I can hear you. It's going back and forth, so I hear it
Oh,
playing over and over in my ear.
uh,
Um,
is
I'm
your
just gonna
headset
talk
plugged
over it.
in?
Yeah, no, it's wireless. These
Or
are
it's wireless?
wireless.
That's possibly could be the reason. From my
Okay,
end,
but
there's no feedback.
I'll just talk over it.
Okay.
So with the P Diddy thing, I mean, it was nerve wracking. I just managed to get on that stage and just, all guts, no glory, you know. So just had to take the mic and just take over that situation. At least let him know. My goal wasn't to get signed or for him to like, pick me up. My goal was to create what do you call it? To create some sort of bookmark in his head that that's the guy, because it'll all make sense when everything comes around. You know what I'm saying? Oh, that was the guy who did that. Wow. Oh, that was that. It's all part of the story. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's quite interesting because I think 2 days ago I was watching his project, the band, the world band,
Making the band.
making
Right.
a
Right.
band,
Right.
and he gives a shout
hmm
out to Zimbabwe. I thought to myself, like, I think the mark that KAPCITY left during that Revolt conference somehow stayed on PDD's head and resonated until now. And he mentioned Africa, but he mentioned Zimbabwe at the end. I said he definitely made an impression, you know.
Right. 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 And I think it's stuff like that. It's little things like that. And that's not the only time he's heard of Zimbabwe. Like, we've had times where we sat down with people close to him, and we've let them know, because I'm not shy to let people know where I'm from. A lot of people know where I'm from, and I shout it out. So it's one of those where repetition. They're gonna keep hearing it. It's gonna make sense when it happens. You know what I'm saying?
And all the time that you're moving around or you're performing, you always make sure that you have your flag. Most of the times you carry the
Yeah,
flag.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah.
Most times I definitely have my flag with me. Um, what do you call it? I just gotta, I gotta represent. I mean, at the end of the day, that is where I'm from. I am proud to be Zimbabwean. I'm not gonna hide it, but I also don't want to be in a situation where people think I'm forcing it. You know what I'm saying? Or if I don't do it, it's like, oh, he's now American. He's now crossed over. Because people can be very ignorant like that.
Yeah.
So I just kind of, try and create that sort of balance so that, you know, people don't lose their edge. You know what I mean?
Great. Hip hop and education. You have not stopped pursuing education. You were in Cape Town. You studied for a degree in human resources. Now you're in the States. You're also studying.
Right.
And why? Why are you pursuing education? A lot of MCs are like, look, I've got bars. Why should
Shit.
I continue to
If this
go to school?
rap thing don't work, man, you gotta have something to fall back on, right? You got to, bro. And that's how your parents raise you, you know? Like your parents need you to have that, that paper. So you gotta have that. So that's pretty much the motivation behind it, just in case. You gotta have the backup.
And coming back to your music, your latest release, you dropped an album. And how has been the
Yeah,
response toward that
boy.
album?
Album's been great, man. Album's been great. I heard you playing God.
Yes, I love
Good
that
old
track.
days.
I love
That's the
that track.
jam right there.
Yeah,
And
I
that
love
one and
it.
Bennett King. Woo, fire, fire. And I'm gonna be giving some visuals soon. So yeah, no fire. The response has been amazing. A lot of people are gravitating towards the new sound, the new style. A lot of people are, the relatability of the music, stuff like that. So that's kind of what I needed from people, just to kind of see what angle I'm gonna take my pen with the next project, or the next single.
And in Zimbabwe, are you getting airplay? Or are you happy with
Yeah,
the airplay?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know the DJs rock with me over there. So yeah, they're showing me love. Shout out to Lady K. Shout out to Paul HD. Shout out to the fam, man. Yeah.
But outside the hip hop programs, do you feel that hip hop is getting enough space?
And Zim, I wouldn't know. Like, to be honest, I wouldn't really know the answer because I'm not on the ground to hear it. But watching from the other artists, it kind of looks like it.
Okay.
You know what
Okay.
I'm saying?
And now we've talked about hip hop. Zim Danso, the economy is bad, but Zim Danso has managed to withstand and last for a couple of years now. What's your take in terms of the hustle? Somebody says to me 3 days ago that maybe hip hop artists are a bit, I'll use the actual word that was used. Hip hop artists are lazy.
No, it's not that they're lazy. Here's how I see it. You caught me off guard with this question, but I think I got it. Um, Dancehall is our sound, to say per se. You know what I mean? Like earlier, I was saying that we need a sound and identity or whatever, but dancehall seems to be the angle that has more of the population. Do you know what I'm saying? That's kind of the ear that we take. So one thing about human beings gotta have a good time. Like that's part of life. That's the balance. You know what I mean? You have your lows and you have your highs. So you want to be entertained, and we're more entertained by dancehall music. That's why people like Winky D and those guys can win in that space because when as much as you're depressed, you're still gonna have money for a beer. And when you have a beer, you want to listen to music, and the music that people mostly listen to is dancehall music. That's kind of what it is. So that genre is going to win regardless. In terms of hip hop, it's very difficult to win people in terms of hip hop and Zim. It's too difficult because there's too many styles. You got Zim artists trying to sound American. You've got Zim people who don't speak Shona trying to adapt to a Shona sound. You got like it's too many variables involved in hip hop. With dancehall, there's one rhythm, one beat, everyone can rock to that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
simple. You know what I mean?
yes.
Like the keys, the majors, like all that stuff is very simplistic. With hip hop, there's just so many dynamics. Like you're not gonna go play hip hop for some kid over in freaking Chitungwiza who's around 100 guys who listen to freaking dancehall all day, every day, and that type of like it's very difficult to convince that person because it's already embedded. You know what I mean? So not that they're lazy, but it's a very difficult genre.
But what's your response to a situation where, for example, Nasty C is able to get an audience from the very same people?
But Nasty C is not Zimbabwean. Remember, South Africa is the closest thing to America for Zimbabweans. So when they look at Nasty C, he looks like a god. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the kid is great. I mean, shout out to Nasty. I know him, but like it's because he's not a Zimbabwean. So when South Africans are coming into the country, they're gonna sell out shows. They're gonna do that kind of thing because they're not local. That's the concept with everything. You're always gonna have more impact outside of where you're from. You know
And,
what I'm
and
saying?
are Zimbabweans having the same kind of impact outside? Do you think we are?
No, lack of marketability. The only person I can tell you is people like all of them, the late all of them, Tukuzi, Japreza, Winky D, to Winky D, to the Zimbabwean fans outside. But like on a global scale, no, because lack of marketability. The answer is no. I hate to say it, but no, that's true.
Great. And I've not had any beef between KAPCITY and other artists. Are you involved in any beef? Do you pride
No,
in beef?
sir. No, sir. I got a son on the way. I can't be involved in that kind of mess, man. I got my son, King Kyrie, on the way. I can't play that kind of game unless they try me, you know?
But obviously, you caught up on the Buffalo Soldier Shatawale beef. You heard about it?
No, I missed it. But I talked to Buff the other day. We didn't even talk about that. But no, I didn't catch that beef. When it comes to beef, man, I turned the other way, plot. Like I look the other way, you know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't bring value unless you have an agenda, you know? But like yeah, I'm more concerned with the craft. I'm more concerned with the talent.
Back to the craft. Visuals, you've said you're going to be dropping a couple of visuals. What's next after this project? What are we expecting from KAPCITY?
Let me be honest, man. Right now I'm working on some ground marketing over here in Florida. I'm just trying to, make my presence really, really, really known over here. And then all that's going to transcend to the rest of the world. So in terms of visuals, I'm just working on some few campaigns over here so I can get, some sort of buzz over here. You know what I mean? I still got my foot in the essay industry. I mean, I'm deep in. A lot of people know that I'm in that industry and I do a lot of work, with artists. I don't talk about it, but that's kind of like my thing. That's why I'm still close to a lot of artists over there. And yeah, so I'm playing both fields. I'm over there and I'm over here just trying to do my thing.
And would you say you were privileged enough to be able to really uh, do hip hop, to do your music, but at the same time, represent what you talk about? Because I know a lot of cats that are rapping about stuff that they've not experienced, that they don't have,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard. Like sometimes, like especially with hip hop, it's a little difficult because it started off being very braggadocious. You never want to show signs of weakness or signs of vulnerability. But now, not now, but as time went and things changed, people started to open up more and talk about their personal life and things that they're going with, and that's what people want to hear because people are, need someone that they can relate to, someone that can change their opinion on things they're going through and stuff like that. So. Um, I wouldn't say I am. You said, am I blessed or something like that with the ability to do that?
were you privileged? Would you consider yourself having been privileged enough to pursue the music career that you
Right, right,
wanted?
right, right. So I've had a pretty dope upbringing. So I didn't really have the need to like really want to channel certain emotions a certain type of way. But life happens and things go up and down. So I also had to make that transition to now dig deeper and do stuff like that. So just growing up and just trying to understand what the fans want, that'll get you to turn your style of music and stuff like that. So yeah, man, in that sense, yeah.
And in terms of your content, what does your content represent? What do you have
I
like
mean,
sort of a universal?
That's why I said go listen to tracks like God. This project allowed me to realize what fans really want to listen to. Fans want the truth and they want the relatability, and I think songs like that is what got them that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's what I picked up from dropping this tape.
Awesome. And to a young artist who's just starting up now, or possibly who's been in the game for a bit, what advice would you give them? They're in Zimbabwe, they're rapping Istungiza
Whew.
or Luveve. Yeah,
Are they doing hip hop? Are they doing music? What are they
they're
doing? What
doing
kind of?
hip hop.
If you're doing hip hop, um, find your sound. Don't try to be someone you're not because you're trying to conform to a specific sound that you hear outside of Zimbabwe. Try and find your lane. Try and find what people stick to. When you talk with your friends, what makes people what makes people gravitate towards you? That's the key. Number two, quality. Number three, market yourself. even if it means you have to get out of Zimbabwe. If it means you have to get out of Zimbabwe because your market is in Mozambique, go to Mozambique. If it means you have to, you have to look at the analytics as well to see what makes more sense for you. But don't waste your time, for example, making music for Zimbabweans when Zimbabweans don't listen to your kind of music. You feel me? If they do, capitalize on that and move in. But if they don't, take your music to where people listen to. Look at the analytics.
And I'm a hip hop artist. I'm dreaming to go to the States.
Hmm.
All I have in my head is, things are well in the States. It's all like it appears in videos, and it's easy
Right.
to just sign, get a deal and stuff.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
Nothing is easy. Nothing is easy, man. Everything comes with hard work. But getting a visa is probably not as complicated as people think it is. You just got to make sure you do it. A lot of people are just scared to just try and attempt. Most people who are fearful is because they haven't tried. So I would say, if you want to come here, ask yourself why you're coming here and what you're trying to accomplish, and got to be the best place to start. In terms of the lifestyle, um, it's not everything is glitz and glam. Not everything is what you see, obviously, on TV.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is too. It's there, like it's there, like you know what I'm saying. So you just gotta don't pay attention to any of that. Like you gotta lower your expectations, especially if you're the artist and not the consumer. So you gotta remember that, and then make sure you're coming with a goal, and everything should work out for you.
Ah, great. And in terms of distribution of music,
Hmm.
things in the States are like 10 times ahead of possibly where we are in Zimbabwe.
Right,
How are the dynamics right now in terms of accessibility and distribution of music? Zimbabwe is slowly
right.
catching up.
Everybody, everybody here, not just Zimbabwe, but Africa in general. So here, streaming is big. You know, back home, Android type of lifestyle is what's big. So sharing songs on WhatsApp, sharing songs on downloading songs. Like people don't download songs here. People stream music. So that's a disadvantage. So it's like when you're marketing, you got to make sure you're marketing and having your music on Apple Music, on Spotify, on Tidal, on that type of stuff. Back home, it's like make sure it's on data file, make sure it's on Audio Mac or whatever it is, and make sure you can download it off of whatever, just to put it on the phone, and then you can transfer it and all this type of stuff. So those are the two dynamics. Yeah.
And do you think the dynamics in Zimbabwe and Africa are sustainable for music?
No, no. Even over here, it's not really that sustainable, but to a certain degree, I mean, at the end of the day, you can't measure how many songs you send via WhatsApp. WhatsApp is one of our biggest media sharing platforms, right, in
Yeah,
Africa.
yeah,
So it's like, how do you measure that Plot sent my song to 100 people? You
yeah.
can't measure it, right?
You can't.
That's you can only measure when you go to the shows and you see how much impact you have, in different places. But that's the big difference. You know what I'm saying? Like here, you can measure, you can look at numbers. Like, oh shit, this month I did 100,000 listeners or 100,000 streams. There, you can see it to a certain degree. I got this many downloads, but you're limited.
Yeah, that's so true there. And
You know?
interaction, there are a couple of Zimbabwean artists that are there in diaspora, and not only in the States, in UK, but everywhere. Zimbabweans are like literally all over.
Hmm.
I've seen with the Nigerian and the Ghanaian music scene, they attribute
Hmm.
a lot of their success to the diaspora community that
Right.
helped build the infrastructure and the structures and the systems that they
Hmm.
needed to export and push their music. Do you see that
Hmm.
happening with the Zimbabwean diaspora community?
Yeah, yeah, but someone's got to do it first. You know what I mean? Like I personally haven't witnessed it. You know, because we're so spread out, so it's kind of hard to see. And naturally, as people, I don't know if we are uh, as strongly bonded as the Nigerians are. I mean, supportive as the Nigerians are. But I mean, the diaspora, I mean, you know, diaspora making money isn't as hard as making money back home, you know? So that's why people can go out and, you know, attend an event and spend money and not have to worry about, oh shit, what am I going to eat tomorrow morning or ABCD, you know? So that's why, you know, outside it's easier to garner more support. But yeah, that's pretty much that. Like, that's why it's a lot easier. That's why Nigerians are allowed to garner a lot more attention outside the diaspora because people, you know, making money and they support their own very well, which I wish we really did.
Yeah, true. And what would be your last two words to your fans and people that love your music, that are following your music?
Make sure to follow my son on Instagram, King Kyrie. I'm joking. No, no. I would pretty much say, hey, listen, man, we need your support. Continue to support us. Don't just leave comments. Support the merch. Support the songs. Buy the songs if you can. Spread the word. You know, this notion of we can't support you because you're close to us is a bad thing to have, and it happens everywhere in the world. It's not just Zimbabwe. It's hard to, you know, it's hard to blow up local, but once you blow up outside and come local, everything changes, you know. So people just need to learn to support from the ground and leave positive, you know, criticism, you know, constructive criticism when you do something. For the artists out there, I mean, find your sound and like find what works to you and go to where your market is. Like, no point selling, you know, lemons to people who eat apples. Like, it'll never happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to go to where they make lemons at. You know what I mean? And that's where they eat lemons. So that's where you got to go. That's as basic as I can give it to you, man.
That's deep. I must say thank you so much, but it would be sad not to get
Thank you, man.
one or two bars from you. You know,
You said what? 102 bars?
yes.
Yo, all my bars. I left all my bars on my project. Oh man, I left all my lyrics on a joint. That's my girl. She annoying. Hey, baby.
Hello. Awesome. Nice one.
She's
Yes.
carrying a king right now, so she's
That's
chilling.
great.
She's
That's
carrying a
great.
king right now. My baby's born in about a month, so
About a month.
that's what we're
That's
focusing on.
awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
Congrats, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So maybe just 15 seconds and then you're out.
15 seconds, man. I
Yeah.
ain't got. Hey, babe, do I have 15 seconds of bars? I'm about to put my girl here and make her rap. Hey, to be
She
honest,
raps too?
nah, she don't rap, but she be rapping all my stuff. You know, she be rapping all my music.
Uh,
I'm just gonna give you that God so that everyone knows that it's my voice. You know what I mean?
yeah, man.
Feeling like a prisoner on this day out. I finally got these demons off me. Now let's watch it play out. Life is such a maze, but you gotta find your way out. Look at my bank account, man. I spend way too much on takeout. I've always been that nigga that makes women want to make out. If I invite you over, that don't mean we finna date now. If niggas want to beef, well, I ain't afraid to pull the stakes out. Living on foreign land, they know I'm dangerous like Denzel in Safe House. Run that back, play that shit, man. Stop playing.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, man. Let me play it back. Thank you so much.
For
That's
sure, for sure.
and
All
I'll
right, man.
definitely stay in touch and bless.
All right,
Thanks to your wife for
all right.
letting you speak for the whole 1 hour. Bless. So you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. I was speaking there to Cap City. Interesting interview. I really, really enjoyed it. And I hope most of you are going to check out, his music. He's an amazing artist. I've been listening to him since he was 12 when he did the Trackless Party with his brother, Luke Kev. And he's still making music from Luke Keith to Capital K and now Cap City. So thank you so much for tuning in.